Hello everybody! In our last video we started the Manchester United rebuild. We won 2 titles, by 16 points the first of them. We signed Victor Osimhen, we got to the Champions League final! You can see it all here. We did some transfer business for our 3rd season, but the question is what are we gonna do on the pitch in it? Let's go and check it out. Unfortunately, we could not replicate the success of the first 2 seasons and we lost the title in the 3rd one, despite the fact that Luke Shaw got 13 assists, Marcus Rashford and Victor Osimhen scored 30 and 22 goals and we're leading the chart. Unfortunately, we finished 2nd with 6 games lost and 6 games drawn with a 1 point behind Arsenal. What hurts even more is the fact that with 2 games to go, after we just defeated Liverpool 3-0 at home, thanks to a goal scored by Conor Gallagher, 1 by Anthony, 1 by Victor Osimhen, then we lost to Nottingham Forest away. And these are the points that we dropped that caused us to lose the title. For the 3rd season in a row, we also met Man City in the Champions League knockout stages, and this time, again, for a 2nd time, we actually managed to knock him out. But unfortunately, in the quarterfinals, we got beat by RB Leipzig on penalties. So it is kinda obvious that letting Bruno Fernandes go had a deep impact on our squad, but it is what it is. Now the question is, how are we going to prepare ourselves and can we have a better season next time? But before we do that, we gotta be aware which of our players performed well and which did not really perform well in this season. And one thing is kinda obvious, in the absence of Bruno Fernandes, most of the assists in our squad were coming from the wingback positions. You can check it out. Wan-Bissaka with 13, Diogo Dalot with 11, Luke Shaw with 14, Tyrell Malacia with 6, and by the way, Kobe Mainoo, he was now also being trained to play as a right defender, had 6. On the other hand, we had 34 goals by Victor Osimhen and 37 goals by Marcus Rashford. They were definitely leading the line for us, although we have to keep in mind that Conor Gallagher had 10 goals and 10 assists, pretty decent output. Mason Mount also had 11 goals and 7 assists. Anthony with 9 goals, he was not doing that great. Franco Gonzalez, the new guy, he had 11 goals and 2 assists, and noticeably, we had Alejandro Garnacho with only 2 appearances from the bench, Rasmus Højlund with only 1, and we were brewing an issue there, weren't we? It was sadly time to get rid of 3 long-time servants of the club. Luke Shaw, he was now 31, but we managed to get 66 million for him by Al Nassr, and we also got 13 million for the 32-year-old Victor Lindelof by Al Red. And yeah, Jadon Sancho was still with us, but we got rid of him for 20 million, so this is another 100 million-ish in our bank. We tried spending them wisely and added another young talent to our squad in the face of Bruno Gomes, who is capable of playing as AMC and was probably gonna be one of the future shadow strikers in our formation. He had good abilities, he was not the strongest guy, he was not the tallest guy, but in terms of technique and work rate, determination, he was okay for that position and he had ways to go with his potential. And we also got Jan Couto on a free. After his contract with Man City expired, he is someone that is very much capable of playing as a complete wingback. Keeping in mind that we got rid of Luke Shaw and maybe Diogo Dalot was now going to be playing a little bit more on the left because he was doing a good job there. We had a backup. But after all, we knew the reason we did not win the title this season is that we lost Bruno Fernandes. Yes, we've tried reaching out and getting Jude Bellingham again because we had the funds, but we got snubbed again. And also something interesting, we tried getting Enzo Fernandez. He was listed by Chelsea, he was listed now for 2 seasons by them, but they were asking for so much money and I just didn't want to pay them, so I got out there and I bought someone else, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. He is great, he is absolutely amazing. He has 19 dribbling, 19 first touch, great passing, great technique, great flair. He's pacey, he's everything you need, he's everything you need. He's 25 years old, so he's gonna be one of our future stars. And despite the fact we spent more than 100 million euro for him, we were now spending around 200 million euros on wages annually. Less than at the beginning of the save, because we improved the wage structure. And we also had 170 million transfer budget remaining. We were not using that. Don't get me wrong, we're not using it. But thanks to that, now the net debt of the club was 0. 0 euros. We started at $500 million and we are now at 0 in 3 seasons. So now, question is, are we gonna do better on the pitch though? I decided to go with only 3 locked-in positions for the season. We had Marcus Rashford playing in the left shadow striker position. Alejandro Garnacho will now be a starter. He's gonna be playing on the right. He's gonna be the shadow striker on the right, and Victor Osimhen is gonna be playing through the middle. And it was evident after 3 games it was kind of working, because we had 7 goals, and all the goals were scored by these 3. Alejandro Garnacho with 1, Osimhen and Rashford with 3. Unfortunately, the results in the first 3 games this time were not really that great. Yeah, we won against Blackburn at home, we won away against Everton 5-1 with a hat-trick by Marcus Rashford, but we also lost away 2-0 against Crystal Palace. And one thing else that I noticed is that the assistant manager didn't really fancy playing Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. He was instead using Conor Gallagher, Kobe Mainoo and Mason Mount through the middle, but hey, Kvicha's gonna play at some point, isn't he? Yep. On Christmas, he already had 24 appearances for the club, but he only scored 1 and assisted 4, which means that with the average rating of 6.8, he was not really contributing as much as we wanted him to contribute. The good news were that Alejandro Garnacho was now performing okay-ish. He was the 2nd most prolific striker in the club after Victor Osimhen. Marcus Rashford, he had 9 goals, but with 7 assists. And Mason Mount had 7, Franco Gonzalez, he had 5, so things were looking okay-ish. In terms of assists, no one had more than 10, and there is a reason. The reason is that we were not doing as great as we could be in the league. We were currently 6th, only 4 points behind. By the way, look at this league table, like 34 Arsenal, 34 Leeds, 34 West Ham, 33 Chelsea, 32 Tottenham, 30 Man United, 30 Forest. So Liverpool, Newcastle, Man City are out of the top 7. And as you can see on the right, we're also doing quite okay-ish in the UEFA Champions League. We had 12 points out of 6 games, 4 points behind PSG, but it's fine. So let's simulate and see how things are going at the end of the season. And unfortunately, for a 2nd time in a row, after winning the title in the first 2 seasons, now 2 seasons in a row, we are not winning it. And this time we're 4th. We're 4th with just 75 points. And the thing that makes it even sadder is the fact that with 2 games to go again, we were on top of the table. Because despite the fact that at the end of November, at the beginning of December, we had a really bad run. We lost 4 games in a row against Liverpool, Chelsea, Newcastle, and then Leeds away. We had a pretty good run in the second part of the season, and before we lost away to Man City in our second to last game, in a match that we had twice the XG they had, but it was away, they had more of the ball, but yet again, we lost this one. And if we did not lose it, we would have won the title. Now, where is this rebuild going? What are we doing here? We won the title twice in a row, now we lost it twice in a row. What is gonna save it? Like, how are we doing in the European tournaments? This time in the round of 16, we played Porto and we won twice, 2-0, which meant that at the quarterfinal we're gonna be facing RB Leipzig, that actually knocked us out previously, but this time we were on top and we were in the semifinals. So, in the semifinals, Real Madrid, title holders, we lost to them. Unfortunately, 4-6 on aggregate. We had a pretty good result in the first game, it was 2-2 away. And at home, we kinda collapsed. So, what went wrong? Well, what went wrong is that they have Jude Bellingham, obviously, they have Vinny Jr. as well, and honestly, they're just better than us. So, are we ever gonna get Jude? Are we ever gonna get better than them? Well, in order to be able to answer this question with a huge yes someday, we had to keep on doing what we're doing. It is improving, getting better, increasing the reputation, and doing good transfer business. So even before the season has started, we've done some transfer dealings. First of all, on the right, you can see that in the mid-season transfer window, we got rid of Rasmus Højlund. He was just not playing for us. We've retrained the guy, he was an AMC, but he was never, ever gonna make it with the amount of talent we had right now. So we got 30 up to 35 million for him by Napoli. Is that a good deal? I don't think so, but we hold on to him for too long, so I could not really complain much about it. We also got 24 million from Anthony. I've really tried. I tried making him someone that is Man United level. I've tried using him. Hell, you've seen it. He was consistent starter for a while, but it just didn't work out. And on the left, you can also see that in the break. First of all, because Andre Onana had an injury around Christmas, we had a backup goalkeeper, well, a backup. For 68 million, we got Gregor Kobel from Borussia Dortmund for 68 million, as I said. And he also had 5 games. He was 3 years younger than Onana. Well, the idea behind it is obviously clear for you right now. We are gonna get rid of Onana, and Kobel is gonna be the first choice goalkeeper after him. You also got this guy, Jos Koopman. He is another future wonder kid. He has amazing stats. Like, why do I even have to tell about it? Like, look at this: 17 work rate, 18 teamwork, great physicals, 15 finishing. He is capable, probably playing as a shadow striker as well as a segundo volante, which meant it was now time for us to actually take a look at our wingbacks. And we started by selling Aaron Wan-Bissaka to Al Ittihad for 56 million. He was now 29. He wasn't gonna get any better, so we cashed on him. And by the way, also had a pretty sweet deal for Jan Couto, who we just signed from Man City. He never played for us, so 27 million. Well, cash in on that. And we got this guy, Michel Lopez. He wasn't cheap, let's face it. Atletico Madrid, defender, Spanish, young, never gonna be cheap. The dude is absolutely amazing. There is a small caveat: he is left-footed. We're gonna use him either on the left or on the right. He's resolute, he's a wonder kid. He has 15 technique. He's fast, he has bravery, he has determination. He's the best replacement for a wingback that we needed. We also got this guy who, despite the fact he's rated like 3.5 stars, what is that? What is that? Look at him. He's great. He's gonna be a really good left wing back at some point. Why is he rated like that? I don't care. He's amazing. We got him as well. And then disaster struck. I picked this time the whole squad for the games before Christmas. We had like a full 11. I went with Onana instead of Gregor Kobel. I wanted to raise the price of Onana as much as I can before I get rid of him, so I can sell him for more. We had Pavlovic and Silva as center halves. They were doing amazing. Malacia and Delo were doing great. And we had Gallagher, Mainu and Mount in the midfield. Keep in mind, Kvaratskhelia wasn't actually among the starting 11. And I hoped that he's gonna be coming in, he's gonna be replacing players, he's gonna be working his way up the ladder, because he was underwhelming last season. But the worst thing of all, Victor Osimhen did his Achilles tendon in one of our first like 5 games, so he was out for the major amount of games before Christmas, and he was gonna be out for another 3 months. So there was an empty spot. There was an empty spot for an attacker. So there was quite a lot of options for the other players. They were able to fight for it. And on Christmas, we were now first in the table. We had 45 points, 8 more than second place Liverpool. We've won the majority of our games. Look at this. Our league position was from day one #1. To be fair, we've had a bad run of games at the end of November and beginning of December. We drew against Everton, we drew against Man City, we lost to Benfica, we lost to West Ham, we drew against Nottingham Forest. But the matter of fact is that we've had only, I don't know, 3 or 4 losses for the first half of the season, so maybe we're gonna do better after Christmas. And yes, we did better! We won the league by 20 points, 99 points! Wow, what an achievement! West Ham finishing second with 79, Man City with 70. Wow, wow, wow! 29 points ahead of Man City, where Liverpool are 5th. It is 32 points more than them. And Marcus Rashford obviously had a season for the history books. He scored 30, he finished with an average rating of 7.87, had 13 assists, he had 11 Player of the Match awards. Oh my god, this was Marcus Rashford's season, wasn't it? Yeah, it definitely was. Marcus Rashford finished with 34 goals in all competitions, followed by Mason Mount with 16. Victor Osimhen, despite his Achilles tendon injury, he managed to score 15 in 28 starts, which is formidable. Franco Gonzalez scored 14, Alejandro Garnacho this time with 13, and Donny van de Beek of all people with 8. Conor Gallagher also had 8, and Maxence Lacroix with 7. Shea Lacey, one of the academy graduates. We've been trying to force him into the squad for quite a while. This was maybe his first breakthrough season. He's now 21. Maybe he will do better in the future. In terms of assists, Marcus Rashford dominating the charts all over the place. He had 17. Mason Mount with 13 assists. Maybe second best player for the season. Mason Mount. Mikel Lopez, our new wingback, with 12 assists. Diogo Dalot with 12 assists as well. Kobe Mainu, he had 9. Alejandro Garnacho 7. Maxence Lacroix with 7. What is this guy doing? Donny van de Beek, 6 assists. In the Champions League, we got to the round of 16 and we won against Real San Sebastian with a 4-3 on aggregate, which meant that we're getting through to the quarterfinal where we faced AC Milan, and we had a pretty bad second game. We won the first one, but we lost the second one 1-4, and AC Milan, that went to the final, knocked us out. And in the final, they lost to PSG. So it is another season without Champions League for us. Well, the good news is we're entering the new season with 40 million euro for wages available annually. And the small amount of 216 million for transfers. So what are we going to do with that? Are we going to finally get Jude Bellingham? We're going to find out in our next video. See you next time.